You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Let's begin now.
And here we are. Hello and welcome to the Ticket Stub, your favorite place for movie news and reviews. The Ticket Stub drops every Thursday on all podcast platforms. Thursday at noon on 104.5 and 106.1 FM in beautiful Conroe, Texas. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Ticket Stub has a ticket sponsorship at the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinema. You can visit irlonestar.com for information about the show and sponsorships, or you can call us and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Also, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. My name's Connor. I'm one of the hosts of the show. Episode 105.
Wow, 105.
Woo! Joined in studio with my friend Chris Appel. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Life
Trying to share the show right now.
Oh, please do. Share the wealth, man.
I don't know. Ever since Facebook updated their app, I don't know how to post anything anymore.
You know, ever since they started sharing our information with everybody, I've stopped participating in that platform, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dick, do you have a new microphone?
No, we're putting up mic wraps.
Whoa, mic wraps. What does that mean? It's like the little black
We're
thing?
gonna put logos around it.
Okay, the
Cool.
ticket stub on all the shows or what?
I don't know yet.
What if every show had to have the ticket stub mic? Probably not going to happen with that, right? But that's okay. That's cool. It's a little upgrade. Doesn't change anything. Just looks a little nicer.
I'm testing things out to see what works.
All right. Well, that's the other host of the show, Dick Schisler. How you doing, man?
Word.
Word to your mother. Well, we got a show today. Good stuff coming up. We're going to do some movie news, as always. Then we're going to rewind the movies that we've seen over the last week. And then Chris had an idea, which I think is a pretty good one. We're just all going to go, boom, best directed movie of all time, in our opinion.
I felt
Yeah.
like we needed to
You had some good takes.
spread it out.
What do you
Like
mean?
you should do it by decade
Like decades or something?
Well,
Well,
Oh, boy, no.
I didn't do that.
I
So.
didn't do that either.
well, no, I'm saying when you say, hey, what's the best directed movie? I mean,
Yeah, of all time.
technology has changed so much, so the art of directing is completely different than it was
Well,
40
it would
years
just be
ago.
our opinion. If you're a silent film guy and you're really into that, you think one
If
of
you
those
pick
silent
Citizen
films,
Kane, I'm walking out of here right
one
now.
of the silent films is the best one, then you can say that.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you pick Citizen Kane?
No, I picked
Don't say it yet.
Airbender.
Yeah. Yeah, what
That's
you
what
said,
I
like
picked.
Little Rascals or whatever. What was
Yeah.
it?
Little Giants.
Little Giants.
Available
Yeah.
on Vudu for free.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Much worse directed than Little Rascals, I'm sure. Little Giants, right? Yeah, thanks for the feedback, guys. All right. Well, cool. Well, we're going to hop right into movie news here. Everything good at the theater? Hold on. Everything good at the theater? Summer life? You're staying alive?
Yeah, I'm staying alive.
Summer
Barely,
life.
yes, but yes. Staying alive.
Lion
Staying
King.
busy.
Lion King comes out.
Yeah, it comes out tonight.
Is there
We
any
got
hot
some-
buzz with the Lion King? I know Beyonce's Nala, right? Is there any drama? Anyone? I don't have any movie
From
news
what
about
I've
this.
what I've heard about the reviews is basically they went way too realistic with the animals. So
Oh,
when
that-
they're singing
that
and
Mufasa
everything,
death scene is going to be pretty
when
graphic.
they're singing and everything, they don't see the facial expressions of the animals. So when
Okay.
you're, it's good to be king or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you have this ferocious little lion singing it.
Okay, so I watch more little kid movies than I used to now that I'm married to someone who has little kids.
Yeah.
And some of their favorite are these like dog movies where the dogs will be like superheroes or whatever. And I mean, they're ridiculous, but
Like Air Bud.
no, different than Air. But it's a new generation, like where they actually literally have superpowers. And their mouths move really like they must put like a green muzzle on those dogs or something. Like how do they CGI?
Are you talking about Air Bud? Air
No,
Buddies?
it's not Air Bud. No. It's not Air Bud. Okay.
I know you're talking about
Santa
that.
Paws.
That is one I think actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have seen that one because
I
you love
have-
Christmas.
I do. There was a Halloween one that I watched. It was
Chris, what the heck?
on
dude?
Meowie Halloween or
Oh
something
dear
like that.
Lord, why are you watching these?
I don't know.
These are
It's-
not meant for
Are
you.
these the best
Sometimes I get
directed
in the
movies?
mood.
These
Is
are-
that what we're talking about?
It was on the list.
These are meant for young children, Chris. These are not meant for you.
Hey, I enjoy whatever.
Young child at heart. Well, how do they get the mouth to move so well in that? But then in Lion King, which is probably like $100 million budget or whatever, they can't do it right.
Well, I think what it is it's more of the art direction because they try to make it look so realistic that it's really hard. Because if you remember, like they smile a lot, like a cheesy smile,
Yeah.
and like you can't make the art direction's realistic. It's not based off of another type of art direction in the sense of, oh, we wanted to make it look more African or something like that, African-inspired art.
African American.
Well, no, African. Like if they wanted to make, because you know how there's different art styles to the way, for example, Hercules. They kind of modeled the Hercules cartoon off of the old style, how they did it on pots and pans, or the old Greek style.
Like terracotta.
So how they
pots
did
or
their
whatever.
hair and everything. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I think they kind of go, no, we're not doing an art style.
Pots
We're
and
just trying to make it.
pans.
Well, that's how on their pots and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
they would do the Egyptian.
I don't think they
version.
had pans. They might have.
Probably no pans.
They
Probably
definitely
just
had
pots.
pans. They definitely had pans. Guys.
They for
Get
sure
with
had
it.
pans. How else did they make their scrambled eggs, dude? In a pot?
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Right.
Fair enough.
But I think that's where they go, hey, let's just make it look real. Let's make it as realistic as possible. Because one thing I'm interested to hear and see is Zazu was one of the most animated characters.
Which one's Zazu?
He's the pelican kind of guy, the bird.
Yeah, gotcha.
But he's like all over the place on the scene. He's moving his feathers and he's like jumping on top of the heads and hitting people, going like, Simba, what you doing, bro? But it's not what he talks. It sounds like. But I don't know. I think it's gonna.
Yo, bro, Simba, bro, what's up, man, dude?
Yeah. Well, especially I made a joke on the morning
the
show.
college years, Lion King, the college
No, I
years.
made the joke in the morning show. They made it so realistic. Remember the
Broseph?
scene where Zazu gets eaten by Scar and Mufasa's like, Scar,
And he
let
spits
him
him back
go.
out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like think about a realistic scene. You're 5 years old. And you're like, is he gonna eat that bird? Because it looks like a real lion eating a
They're
bird.
going to have to change a few things, I guess.
So I wonder, do they do that whole Nazi kind of thing?
I doubt it.
Which part's the... Oh, is that when they march or whatever?
Yeah, do they do that at
Yeah,
all?
probably not. Maybe it's more of like a North Korean thing now. It's not so much Nazi.
Well, it's more of just the soldiers,
like dictator
Yeah.
walk or whatever. I don't know. Mufasa, I mean, he's got to die, and if it's realistic, that's going to be kind of sad. But it'll probably, blood everywhere, and then like the buzzards come out and start picking at him a little bit. Like, how much time do you think they spent on that scene, Chris?
I haven't
They're
seen
probably
it.
gonna-
I would assume it just cuts away.
Probably so.
They'll go
And Simba's like,
they'll go the route
"Oh."
of Finding Nemo, where like the pelicans are brainless.
Mine,
and then they'll
mine.
make the vultures like that, and there's like food.
Food.
Simba.
I think it looks cool, man. I think it's gonna be good. I mean, Disney has done. I mean, they just pretty much do a good job. It seems like even Aladdin, which seemed like it was. I never saw it still, but seemed like it was gonna be the stupidest movie ever. Everybody I talked to really liked it. Like it was pretty well received. So, that's a big one coming out this weekend, I guess. Is anything else big coming out?
No, that's it. Then we
Everybody's
next-
like, move out of the way.
Yeah.
Do not release anything the same weekend as Lion King.
and I think next week is Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh heck,
Aw,
yes.
yes.
Hobbs to the
Yes.
bro.
Yeah.
Hobbs, right. I can't wait for that movie. It's gonna be so good. Idris Elba's the bad guy.
Oh, is he?
There's
Oh, yeah,
literally
that's
a
right, he is.
line that he goes. I think it goes along the lines of, I am a superhuman, or super. I do have super.
Well, he becomes one. I think Idris
Well, that's
Elba,
what
he
I'm
gets like
saying.
electrocuted or
He
something.
gets something in like a technology in his back, and that makes him super.
I always like when they're like exoskeleton makes them, or
Yeah.
whatever.
When
like
are they going to space?
Oh, it's
like they're
soon.
going to
oh,
space.
it's soon. It's so soon. Will the words like fast and furious or fast or furious? You think they're going to use that line somewhere in there? Like,
Yeah.
you're not too fast and furious or something?
Fast and Beyond.
Ooh, fast and beyond. That could be
So.
the one where they go to space.
We're trying to get a car club to come to the theater for that.
Dude, you should.
weekend.
You should get some of those, like where they jump, like where the hydraulics
The
push
high-
them
Yeah,
up.
low
we
riders?
did that one year for a Fast and Furious. And
Did
it
you
was,
really?
yeah, we did.
Got a little too rowdy or what?
It was pretty big.
We got the tiki drinks now, so
If I had
that'll
to
calm
do it
you
over
down.
Dak Shack.
Dak Shack.
Dude, you can hit
Yeah.
hit the Dak Shack
You
up.
can hit the Dag Shack.
Do you have
Is
to
there shots
have a
at the
movie
Dak Shack?
ticket to drink at the Dak Shack?
We
It's
would
just your
prefer
bar
it.
of
Yeah.
choice.
We would prefer it.
Well, you can't get into it without one, right?
Well, I mean, you think those kids are going to stop us?
Yeah.
Honestly, well,
No-
never mind.
nothing can stop me.
Yeah, nothing can stop.
If you just walk, hey, y'all want to meet at the Dak Shack later for a few drinks? We're not gonna do the movie part, but we just love those Ritas or whatever they've got. Well, cool. Well, let's actually talk about some of the movie news we had planned. I guess that was movie talk. Vox.com had an article. There's actually about 100 million articles about this topic right now. But Scarlett Johansson has resurfaced. It's almost like this news story came and went, and now it's back again. And I'm sure it'll go away, and then maybe come back again a little later. But she is now defending herself from the accusations that people are making about her racist, or I mean, I don't know. I feel like everything's racist and homophobic and xenophobic and everything like that. But she said she was basically defending herself in playing some of these roles that people are saying should be given to an Asian person or a transgender person. And so that was the big criticism at first, was that she got cast in this role. And then she kind of stood up for herself and said, well, I think I should be able to play it. And then they all criticized her. And now she's saying, oh, everybody's just too PC. which is kind of funny now that I feel like even people who probably are pretty PC are having to say like, okay, maybe we've gone a little, it's like I'm super PC, but y'all are even a little bit too far. So my question is, well, first off, what are your thoughts on the whole ScarJo deal? I know y'all have some.
I say good for her, but it's easy to, stand up for yourself when you have $11 billion, and it really doesn't matter what happens because you're still going to be good after this. But I think she's right. I think she should be able to.
I know
play
one guy.
anything.
You don't have FU money. Can I say that? Can I abbreviate things? You don't have FU money.
What does that mean?
You have F me money. Like it's so much that I can screw myself over and it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. That's the way I look at it. Yeah.
Oh, it's especially interesting to see the creative group of artists, of actors, directors, and all that kind of thing, because the history of acting has so many twists and turns. And when it, like for example, like when they did Shakespeare back in the day, the men played the women and things like that. So I think,
and we've come full circle.
well, I think people have kind of looked at it as the PC is affecting, for example, in Mulan. Like I guarantee someone's going to write an article about, oh, that woman isn't really Chinese; she's actually Japanese. So I can't believe they would do that.
Yeah.
Or she's
Mongolian.
She's more Southeast Asia, which is really Middle Eastern. So they can't be representing the Chinese culture or whatever.
Well, the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
They've made a change
and
there.
I think with the Scarlet,
What
basically,
did they do to the Little Mermaid?
She is African American now.
The mermaid is?
Yeah.
Well, why does she? Just cause?
I don't know.
Was she
I think
originally-
it's the hair, like not the red hair, because
Is she gonna be a red-haired?
no, I don't think so.
I didn't
no.
tell you about this
That's
about
what
the
I'm saying.
conspiracy theory that Disney and there's this conspiracy theory out about all ginger leading roles are being taken by this.
Hey, as a partial ginger,
this is a real deal. This is a real deal. They're basically, they had like 10 examples of all these ginger inspired characters, comic books, movies or whatever, and then the remakes,
They're not ginger.
it's the easiest thing to replace with a minority. So the joke is
Gingers are the real overlooked minority.
Well, they're the easy to replace. So when they're having the round table, it's like, oh, we want to put more PC stuff into this movie. Oh, replace Mary Jane.
It's like we don't want
Mary
this,
Jane doesn't need to be the classic redhead that she's always been.
We don't want this hideous ginger in there. Give us somebody who's a little.
Well,
bit
no, the
more
Little
attractive.
Mermaid animated looks great, but I think a live person with hair like that, it would just look weird.
You think the hair's gonna be real when she's underwater?
I don't know how they.
They're
do
not.
it.
They're gonna CGI. It's gonna look.
Yeah,
so
but I'm
bad.
saying
I don't think they'll
it would
really
look
be
kind of
underwater.
hokey with the big red
And
hair.
when we
I think.
saw Aquaman, they had the capability of doing underwater scenes.
I mean, this isn't like
So what we're saying
And
is,
that
Wynette-
girl was ginger in
so
Aquaman.
the soundbite for people is that gingers are the true oppressed group.
Oh, yeah, the
here when it
underlining.
comes-
No
when
one
it
wants to
comes
talk
movie
about it.
representation. We need more gingers on the screen. When was the last one you saw? I mean, there's actually a bunch. I guess.
No, I just
but-
made that joke about that woman in Aquaman. She was playing. She wasn't even a real ginger. She was playing
Yeah, they
the
dyed
ginger.
her hair for that. That is pretty offensive. I didn't even.
So
Doesn't Black Widow have red hair? Or am I wrong?
she's supposed
Well, that's
to.
Scarlett Johansson, right?
Well, yeah,
But they dye her hair kind of red.
Right.
Yeah. Again, so another example of ScarJo playing somebody that is not true representation. I'm
Hey.
pretty furious.
Harry Potter, Ron Weasley there. That
True. He's a true ginger.
He is. I think.
Yeah, but when
No, I wanna
they
pull this up
remake
real
that for the young adult, in the future, no way he's a redhead.
Probably.
Yeah, no way he's gonna
So,
be.
I found this on
some
Reddit.
hunky brown haired guy, tan skin. Don't stare at me with your tan and tell me how much better you are than I am. Sorry, I don't have good melatonin.
I don't think Ron did that.
No,
in the
he's
movie.
not. But the future will. They're gonna be
Oh.
sitting in a boardroom like, you want this freckly, weird looking guy?
No, he's gonna be like an unpopular guy, but he's like super ripped. He's
Yeah.
like showing his abs constantly. He's like, no, don't look at me. I'm hideous.
I've got body image issues.
Yeah.
Sorry, I only have an 8-pack. I can't quite get those last 2 abs to come in. Well, I love some of these tweets that came in the ScarJo article here, where it's like, when trans people are quote unquote allowed to play any person, when prominent roles stop being whitewashed, then Scarlett Johansson can have a moan. It's like, okay, woke award goes to Dean Van Wyn. All right, he's the most woke of all of us, I guess. I think the point is, it's not about being anything. It's about she's super famous, and that's why they want her in the movie, right? It's not about
Yeah, they
being
want to make money.
Yeah, it's not,
they want to make
it's
money.
Not about
That's-
being,
yeah.
It's not about being straight or gay or trans or white or black or any of the other stuff. They want to make money. She's a super famous person.
Oh, that's why they did the Little Mermaid the way they chose to go that way, and especially the 007, which we're going to be talking about later.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, there's always going to be that money guy or money think tank behind it going, hey, if we add this, if we change this, are we going to lose or gain? And it's like, oh, we need more gains. It's okay to lose occasionally because we owe a favor to somebody or whatever. But you get to that point where you're like, So they're not going to make that movie Scojo or whatever her name is. It was going to be in, and they're going to find
Joe.
I think it's just really interesting because of you're losing an opportunity to have that more representation as a character on the screen.
Yeah, now we don't get to see the trans person on the screen. I mean, if your agenda is we want to normalize transgender people, well, then you should be rooting for this movie to happen, not for it to not happen unless there's a trans person playing that character. And trans people are coming up. It's like, give Hollywood like a year or two. Yeah. I mean, this issue is like, it's not new, but it's like not been that long that it's been as politically correct as it is or whatever, or as blown up as it is. It's like, give them stars come in the making a little bit. Give them a minute to build a few of these stars.
Especially in the comic book world, is you have these reporters asking the same questions about everything. Like, oh, is this person going to be gay or not? And I'm like, well, what does that have to apply to anything in the like in the comic? Like my favorite one, recent one, they were talking about Birds of Prey, and the Black Mask is the new villain in it. And Victor Zazu, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last.
Probably not.
Probably not. But someone, basically, one of the producers made a comment going, "Oh yeah, we're thinking they're gonna maybe do this, make the Black Mask and have a history with Zazu sexually." And I'm like, but what is that like? What does that even matter unless in the story it's like, oh, I lost him. Oh, but that's not gonna happen. They're villains. Like we think they can make some.
Maybe that's what made him a villain. Maybe he got bullied or something. Probably not.
It's just so weird that they're making these decisions off. Like the mermaid thing, to me, that doesn't really bother me, mainly because that movie isn't meant for me. That's really not, like, the movie is not meant for me. I don't think I get offended because in the comic book version, if you're really going to complain about the animated version, what about the original story of Little Mermaid?
Yeah, she was white.
And not even that, like, she got tortured, and, like, when she would walk, she would, like, be in pain. That was a whole thing where,
Oh, is there something beyond the movie that Disney made?
Yeah, the original...
It's a book.
It's the original tale of the Little
Who
Mermaid.
reads?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're really going to be upset about it, I mean, that's the way you go about it. But in the 007, that's going to be a great transition because...
All right, well, let's transition. Speaking of...
What was that article you had?
It was on theguardian.com.
See, I don't like this because it spoils part of the movie.
Oh, well,
and I don't like that.
Oh, you're talking about the new one with, what's his name?
Yeah, the new James Bond
movie.
Well, because it does spoil it a little bit.
Because Sean is a diehard Ian Fleming fan, and his big gripe, which is somewhat interesting. Sean is my coach in the morning. He's an actor.
Quit plugging the morning show. This is like your
but
third.
I wanted to let people know we talk more about cool movies.
We talk about better stuff. Yeah.
But his argument.
Sean's a great host. Great
his argument is
really funny.
The original James Bond character, 007 James Bond, was a misogynist, racist.
Womanizer.
Well, I don't know about racist.
Well, apparently he was a racist in it.
Everybody is.
In the book.
Probably transphobic.
And so his thing is, if you're going to base a character off that's already been written and you're going to go completely opposite, change the name of the character. Don't say James Bond. So he's saying since they announced it as 007, that's not James Bond. It's just 007. That's going to be her code word.
Well, because 007 is just that's the code letters assigned to like James Bond is not.
That's correct. I mean, there's a big. Everybody's making a big stink about this. This is
gonna,
a one-off joke in the latest movie.
And so basically, it's going to be like for a minute, she's going to be assigned 007, right, or something.
Pretty much. Or maybe for the whole movie. I mean, that's fine.
Or maybe for the next movie.
But they're trying to blow this up.
No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen.
They're trying to act like this is the handoff of the franchise.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen, right? And here's my thing.
I can see
it's the same. It's the same with Ocean's 8. It's the same with all this stuff. If you want to do it with if you want to have a black female lead, don't tie it to the James. I mean, just don't call it 007. Like, just call it chick who fights crime and works for the Secret Service or whatever. It's like Ocean's 8. They don't have have bank robbing
you have to
women.
tie it into the same world. So
no, you don't because
you do.
because it's like.
Anyways, that's the whole purpose of.
But the whole point of 007 is exactly what you said, which is that he's macho man. He hooks up with girls. He's he beats up guys with his fists.
I guarantee you mark my words, and I don't know anything about this movie, and I swear I have not any spoilers except for this one, which I don't like. I guarantee you she's dead by the end of the movie. I guarantee you. I guarantee
what it could be
because the black girl always dies first.
No, because he's gonna have to get that code
really what
back.
it could be. What it could be is
License
it's
to
a
Kill.
test from the producers saying, will people react well to having a female James Bond? And
I think the answer is gonna be no.
Yeah.
Because
but it's not what they're doing at all.
Plus, the audience is like 95% guys for James Bond. That's got to be. I don't know that. I mean, but that's got to be true.
It's even like families, like younger, not like kids, but younger
guys,
folks.
younger guys. Like
no,
How many girls do you know that love James Bond? Does your wife watch James Bond?
I
with
mean,
you?
they're there.
She
though.
watches it with me.
Does
I
she
mean,
like
you can't.
She doesn't particularly.
Have you ever
like
one
it.
time walked in and your wife was just watching James Bond?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Case closed.
My theory of what they're doing with the James Bond right now is they're trying to figure out how to make it one of those billion-dollar movies.
It will be.
And
It is. And the
and
last one was.
I don't mean franchise. I mean the individual movie. How do we get this to hit the billion?
Have they hit a billion
mark?
with one of them?
No.
Oh.
And
Pretty close.
well, it's arguable, but
I mean, all right, we can look it up.
Yeah, we should look it up. Look it up.
I don't think it's that up for debate.
Look
I mean,
up Spectre or Skyfall and Spectre, and we'll see. 'Cause
Spectre-
it's very
Spectre?
very close to $1 billion
all right.
individually, by the way.
individually.
Lifetime gross 200 million.
That's
That's
no,
20%.
that's
This one,
domestic.
this is
No,
the
worldwide.
box office right here. I'm reading it from Wikipedia. 880 million.
That's
so-
pretty close to $1 billion.
Oh,
Yeah, only
okay, you're
100
right.
120
worldwide.
million
You're right,
off.
You're right. Yeah. Well, I mean, 120 million. That's a lot of money, Chris. No,
Oh, okay.
no, percentage wise.
Well, they should have kept it in the theater for
Well,
another
no, what
weekend.
I'm trying to get
88%
to is they're
Yeah.
trying to they're gonna
DVD
try,
sales
trying to
probably
figure out how
pushed
to
it.
make it $1 billion franchise because the thing you have to be careful with James Bond is you can either just kind of like Star Wars. I bet they had a huge internal discussion about how not to ruin this $1 billion brand we bought and continue making these crappy movies because people were not reflecting well to the Star Wars story movies besides Rogue One. They weren't responding well, like Solo. And that's what I'm saying. They're either going to try to do a James Bond kind of story kind of thing. It's called James Bond story featuring this female character, and they're going to dub it as some other title, but it's still in the universe of James Bond. And
I
so
don't-
like
no way
M will
that
be in it,
happens.
Moneypenny will be in it. Like those people will still.
No way
queue.
that happens.
I mean, they're
don't
trying
think
to
there's
figure it
any
out.
way.
They're trying to figure it out.
That's what I'm saying,
They've
just-
already figured it out. This movie made they all made
880
$880 million.
Yeah, but-
They're not trying to tweak it. And have you seen some of these, like Quantum of Solace with Daniel Craig is a terrible film. It's not good.
That's
they
not your best
rebounded from
directed?
that.
It's
No,
not
it's
your
not my
best
best
directed?
directed. No.
It made
But
the top 10 for me.
there's always going to be crappy Bond movies and good Bond movies. It's
Yeah.
a franchise that just keeps on going. They're not going to change
but
the
they're
formula.
what they're facing here is they did a lineage James Bond movie, a timeline. They have a timeline. All these movies connect. The other James Bond style movies, they never really had anything to do with one another. They rarely had the same.
But as soon as they
Felix
recast
stuff.
it, they can totally pivot that. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I mean, as soon as they get a
Yeah.
new Bond in there, like the Daniel Craig is kind of a sequential storyline. But
Kinda,
it is.
it
yeah.
is.
It is.
Like it has to. It is. There's no way to argue around
Yeah.
it.
But it's I mean, they tie together, but I don't think you could watch one without having seen the others and know what was going on. I mean, like he mentions Vesper or
Motivation.
something.
The motivation of James Bond, yeah, because that's kind of like he goes down the downward spiral, and then he goes rogue for one, and they're like, why is he going rogue for one? What's going on? Who's this
Yeah.
woman they keep talking
I mean,
about?
you can pretty much not have seen Casino
We
Royale.
got to fly in the studio. We got to fly in
Uh-oh.
the studio.
You didn't have to see Casino Royale or Quantum of Solace, but if Skyfall, you had to see Skyfall.
That's true.
To see
Skyfall was a
Spectre.
little bit more of
You
a-
really did because
yeah.
those movies were
These
really
movies
really
are
tied in
horrible, so
together.
we can move on.
No, they're
All
great.
right. All right, last one, and this is we'll just talk about this quickly here for a couple minutes. Time.com had an article about the most. Oh shoot! It just changed to a different article. Here we go. The most realistic movie about space, and so
Okay,
Killer Clowns.
I did not.
yeah, Killer Clowns from Space. Actually, it was.
Dag nabbit.
What's the Trolls Gone to Space or
It's
something?
gonna ruin my. This is gonna
Fast
ruin,
and Beyond.
What is it
ruin
gonna
the end
ruin?
of the show for me. But go ahead.
Oh, do we need to pause?
No,
Pause. Okay.
go ahead.
Well, so what it said was that basically I'll do it this way. I'll just talk about a few of the movies and what are what are the best ones that got it right. And so there was 3 that really seemed to get it right, and then there was a couple that seemed to be pretty off the mark. So the 3 that were probably the most accurate from reading this was Apollo 13. It was The Martian, which hold on, The Martian, and then First Man. So First Man from last year, The Martian from 2015, Apollo 13.
I mean, how can The Martian be anything realistic? Because no one's really been to Mars.
Well, it was just talking about. I mean, there's.
How do they know that's real?
Well, let me read what they said. When it came to representing Mars, they were both realistic and improbable elements of the film. They praised The Martian as rollicking space flick, said that the movie's representation of the surface of Mars was accurate, although he took issue with its treatments of the elements. Does that make any sense to y'all? They used some big words in there, which I'm going to take disrespectfully because
This guy just walked by the studio with his shirt open. Like
You liked it?
totally.
You
Dang it!
liked
I missed it.
I was caught off guard.
I missed it. Chris is going to be
'Cause
flustered
it
for the
was,
rest of the show.
it was not a not a good
realistic,
choice.
but some.
It was very realistic.
The only
not
issue,
a good choice.
the only issue they had with the entire Martian movie was that when the wind is blowing, it wouldn't blow stuff over because of the atmosphere, I guess. So, anyways, I don't know.
Because they know. Because they've been to Mars.
We've been to Mars. I mean, we've had like crafts on Mars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the little rover, like they study it. What are you acting like we've never been? Like
Those things are pretty cool.
I'm saying the humans have never been to Mars, so it's kind of hard to make it say, "Hey, this is real." Like this is the best representation.
yeah, but they know what Mars is like.
Okay.
Okay, are you a freaking scientist?
It's inhospitable.
The two that didn't do a very good job, and here comes the big surprise: Gravity from 2013.
Oh, I like that movie.
And then Interstellar from 2014. Interstellar, if you remember, is where they time travel through black holes. It's amazing that one was a little bit maybe unrealistic.
It could happen.
Honestly, their only criticism was we don't really know what happens in the black holes. So honestly, that could be the most accurate out of all of them, probably. And then Gravity, the big complaint there was the scene where Sandra Bullock, like, remember when she like ejects from the space station
How
and
is this
floats
movie
across
news?
space to the
How
other?
is this movie news?
Well, it's talking about movies. Have you been listening, or did you tune out?
I don't
when
really
Charlotte
know
Sky
if
walked
this is
by?
news, though. Is this really news?
Oh, okay, it's a movie
So
article.
this is an opinion of a guy?
Well, so now my question to you is: have you been a part of the other 104 shows that we've done? Like we talk about, this is about movies, about which is realistic and unrealistic. What would you say in your mind seems like a far-fetched, space movie?
Mom and
Sunshine?
Dad Save the World.
Okay,
Sunshine?
okay, maybe one that other people have seen. Like, what is Mom and Dad Save the World?
With John Lovitz? Oh, okay.
Okay,
Guess
well,
nobody's seen it. That's a great movie, by the way.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
And
That's an old
Jeffrey Jones is also Jeffrey Jones is the main character.
I mean, Sunshine seemed believable, but then it's kind of insane to have it like the one chance that one guy goes psycho. And I'm like, that's always the fear when people go to like long distance space travel. It's like someone's going to go psycho on you. But I feel like that wouldn't have happened like at all.
Probably the most realistic for me, Event Horizon. Remember that one? That was probably pretty realistic. When like the little spiders come out.
I think Alien Covenant.
Ooh,
I think that's all real.
Prometheus.
Star Trek,
Prometheus.
Realistic.
Insurrection.
Star Trek.
Star Trek
Star
Nemesis.
That's a good one.
What?
I like Star Trek Nemesis.
Is that where there's a second Picard?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
They
that one-
clone him. and
Yeah.
It's played by what's his
Oh, it's
name?
played by the 3-name guy.
Yeah. Bane, whoever Bane is.
That's Insurrection. Yeah.
Oh no
Insurrection.
no! It's not the 3-name guy. It's Bane. Yeah. There's the
What's his
the-
name?
that's
Now
right,
I'm
Nemesis.
blank.
No, I'm
What's
sorry.
his name?
I hate him.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Thank you.
No, it's like
It
Jonathan.
was Tom Hardy?
No, it was Jonathan Rhys Meyers or whatever.
No, it
his
was
name
Tom Hardy was a Nemesis.
Was he really?
Yeah, he played the clone, the younger.
Oh, yeah.
Picard.
I hate that movie. I like First Contact. I got confused.
Contact or Star Trek
First
First
Contact.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Star Trek First Contact.
Is that with the whales?
No.
No,
that's
okay.
On Voyage Home or something,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
All right. So a lot of accurate space stuff. All right. Well, thanks for derailing. And,
Star Trek is very realistic if you suspend.
But
your-
we've never been into deep space, Chris. How could
Yeah,
they
how
know?
do we know?
How could they know?
How could we know?
That's true.
How could they know?
Yeah.
Well, and then we hope it's like that.
Ooh, yeah, go where no man's gone before. Well, let's go to break that no man has broken before. When we come back, we're going to do our rewinds of the movies we've seen over the last week or two, and then we're going to do our best directed movies of all time. So stick with us here on the Ticket Stub.
This is Rick, TRC. Every Tuesday on my show, Afternoons with Lone Star from 3 to 7, I play back-to-back classic rock hits. That's right. I like to call it a 2 for Tuesday or a 3 for whatever it is you'd like. Call the request line 936-647-3776 or message me on Facebook, Afternoons with Lone Star, make a music request. That's right, you can do it. Here's what else. Go over to our website, irlonestar.com. Get the app on your phone. It's easy. You'll like it.
The Ticket Stub is sponsored by the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas.
With 18 locations around the country, the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas bring you the latest in state-of-the-art projection and sound.
Including Fathom Events and Flashback Cinema.
Did you know your local Grand or Amstar Cinema serves a wide variety of adult beverages?
And some even have a full bar.
And moms, they didn't forget about you. They also have a large selection of wine to help you get through those kids' movies.
Visit your local Grand or Amstar Cinema today.
Are you interested in learning more about preparing quick, healthy, and safe meals for your family? Would you like to spend time with others learning tips and tricks, along with practicing and tasting nutritious food? If so, the On the Road to Healthy Living Mobile Cooking School is for you. Call Amy Ressler at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service at 936-539-7825 to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class.
Our talk shows and music shows are looking for sponsors. Want to expand your brand awareness? Reach the hyper-local audience in Montgomery County? Lone Star Community Radio sponsorships accomplish this. Want to see our stats and rates? Check out irlonestar.com/sponsor for more information. Or call in and leave us a message at 936-647-3776.
Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids are removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
Our talk shows and music shows are looking for sponsors. Want to expand your brand awareness? Reach the hyperlocal audience in Montgomery County? Lone Star Community Radio sponsorships accomplish this. Want to see our stats and rates? Check out irlonestar.com/sponsor for more information. Or call in and leave us a message at 936-647-3776 with your questions. Get seen on TV, YouTube, and heard on our podcast, FM, and internet radio. Support your local radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
And we're back on the Ticket Stub. If you missed this last segment, if you're listening on the radio, we talked movie news. Questionable, I guess. We talked about things regarding movies. And now we're going to do our rewinds. This is where we talk about the movies that we've seen over the last week. Chris, you got a movie?
I did not watch a movie.
Oh,
what?
I know it's the
Great
first
start.
time I did not watch a movie because I was binge watching Stranger Things.
Oh my gosh.
Season 3.
We can't call audibles
Now,
like this, guys.
Hey, you got to talk about
I
Game
know.
of Thrones.
Dick is too hard and fast with the movie. Like, people who like movies
Let me
also
ask you
like Stranger
something.
Things.
Let me ask you something. When you go see this show, do you get a stub as a reminder that we're called the Ticket Stub?
Oh, I see.
Oh, I thought you meant something else.
I thought you meant something.
We're not called the Ticket
It is like,
Stub.
it's a show about
Kind
young
of.
boys.
Ticket Stub and subscriptions. Like you're
Although we
almost,
do
you're
talk
almost
about-
bad as
He talked about
Movie
Game
Pass.
of Thrones.
You talked about stuff on like HBO Go and HBO Now and HBO.
Well, Deadwood the movie is the
Yeah, but
movie.
Where's your stub?
I got it.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You made your own.
Hey, the last episode of season 3 is an hour and a half. That would qualify as a movie.
There we
I
go.
would think.
Feature length. All right, so talk about Stranger Things.
Well, I like.
Did you like season 2?
Yes, I like.
I never watched season 2 because I started the first episode and it was kind of dumb.
I thought season 2 was just as good as season 1.
You can't judge a series by the first episode.
Well, I got bored and stopped watching it, so that I did do that.
Clearly, you moved on to better things.
I did. Yes, I did. But I heard season 3 is back. I heard season 3 is.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. That's all I'm going to say.
All right,
That's all
cool.
we're
Check
saying.
it out on
It's
Netflix.
great. Yep, check it out.
So what the
Netflix.
heck? Are we supposed to believe that these same kids are getting involved in like paranormal activity multiple times?
Well, it all
Doesn't that
takes
seem a little bit
place
rare?
in there. Well, but
I always felt it was because of the girl. The
it
girl
I mean, it
attracts
is.
because she's able to talk to
What's
the
her name?
other
Millie Vanilli Bobby Brown or something like
Yeah.
that?
13 or something like that. But I thought she was somewhat connected
good.
to
You like that? Millie Vanilli Bobby Brown?
the upside down world.
Yeah,
and so
she
that
is.
that attracts the upside down world to her. So that's why I always thought.
Well, it all takes place in Hawkins, Indiana, and
Of
that's
course.
where they've broken into this like
The-
parallel dimension, the upside down there. So that's kind
Stephen
of,
Hawkins,
and that's where those
Indiana.
kids live. So that's where that stuff kind of keeps happening.
Oh, okay. And
you not
the
seen
same
it?
kids. I saw the first season.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I saw the first season. Watched first episode of season 2. Didn't like it, so stopped. And also, sometimes it's like everybody loves it. It's like, okay, dude, I don't know. Is it really that good?
I'm happy
It's
because
different. I think that's
I-
why people liked it.
Oh, it's the 80s and it's nostalgic.
I didn't know anything about it before I started watching. I never heard anything about it, nothing. And I just happened to stumble across it on Netflix. And
You
I
just
was
happened
like,
to.
well,
It was plastered all over.
well,
like,
it was a
every
cool
banner.
poster. Like the cool like thumbnail they had. It was really neat, like an 80s style thumbnail. I was like, okay, I'll click on this because my wife was off doing something. I don't know. I was
We don't
kinda
know what
bored.
wives do.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, women.
So I
they
clicked
don't
on it and I
watch
was like,
movies.
wow, that's pretty good. So I was happy I kind of discovered it on my own rather than.
Do you
like
recommend it
said.
to our listeners to check out Stranger
So
Things?
It's the best show. It's the best show on TV or internet or whatever you
That is debatable.
No, it's not. It's not.
Have you seen Below Deck Mediterranean?
Have you seen Young Sheldon?
Young Sheldon?
I mean, we know that's the
I've
best.
seen a couple of episodes of that.
Oh, what is this, the
There we
TV
go.
stub? What are we doing here, guys?
Yeah. Anyway,
We should do an episode of the TV stub. That'd be a good one.
We should.
Yeah,
The
no, but-
TV guide.
Yeah, TV stub, dude. No, we'll just keep the branding, but just
Hey, Millie Bobby Brown was in Godzilla, so this kind of ties in.
Godzilla.
Oh, is that really your name?
Millie Bobby
Yeah,
Brown.
Millie-
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Millie
awesome.
Bobby Brown.
I
yeah.
thought you were just making up a name. I was like,
I
all
know.
right, yeah, I'll go
I
with
threw
it.
Milli Vanilli in there because I'm a creative master.
The only thing that I wish Netflix would do is the kids are kind of at a very awkward age, and they're not really people that you want to see outside of the show.
So should they cast Scarlett Johansson as one of the teenage
No,
kids?
what I'm saying is they're at that awkward stage where
Because who's to say?
when they're
that she
doing
doesn't-
when they're doing interviews and stuff
Oh,
like that,
gotcha.
it's just it's very cringy.
Yeah.
Like all the interviews are doing, just because they're like that age.
Why would
like
you watch interviews?
13, 14? Well, I don't know. I'm just kind of
Worst thing about Netflix is the autoplay thing where it plays the trailer when you're scrolling. Have you noticed
Yeah,
this?
it's awful.
Yeah, it's like as you scroll through Netflix, if you ever stop for more than 1 second on something, it starts playing the trailer for it with like full volume.
Yeah, it's awful.
It is terrible, and you can't stop it either. Dick, did you actually watch a movie or did you watch
A TV show?
Yeah, you got you watch a Homeland season 8 or anything like that or
No, I watched a really
Jack
short
Reacher?
web series
Jack Ryan,
that
that's-
were like 3 minutes long each series.
Oh,
each,
wow.
each show. No.
Did y'all watch Black Mirror by the way?
Yeah, I
Black
watched
Mirror's
that.
back.
Yeah, I watched
Miley
that.
Cyrus, how about that?
Yeah,
Ashley,
I
too.
watched. Did you watch the Striking Vipers one?
No, I've only that's the one I
All right.
watched the Dorcases or whatever. What was it called? The one with the where he kidnaps the guy.
Okay,
The company had a weird name.
I don't know.
I can't remember what it was called, but
whatever. Topher Grace.
Smithereens. That's what. It was
But no, I watched. I don't know why I watched this, but Holly wanted to watch it, so we rented it. It's called Changeland. It was released not too long ago, June 7th. It is the director debut of Seth Green, and it stars Macaulay Culkin, Seth Green, Breckin Meyer.
I heard about this movie.
I
heard an interview with Seth Green about it.
Yeah,
And this is recent?
This is yeah, it's all on demand. I don't think they released it in theaters.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
But
June 7th.
while visiting Thailand, two estranged friends realize there's no rule book for finding a purpose and meaning in life.
I like Breckenmeyer.
The movie, the acting wasn't bad. The movie was just boring, I would say.
Oh, bummer.
Well, I mean, because it opens up where basically Seth Green went on his anniversary trip by himself, and his buddy, who's a photographer, happened to be in the area, so he invited him to join him. Well, it turns out like the best friend realizes, oh hey, where's your wife? What's going on? And he's like, oh, I found out she's cheating on me, so I just got up and left and went on this trip. I didn't tell her about I already paid for it. It was my surprise for our anniversary. Then when I found out she was cheating on me, I didn't tell her about the surprise. I just left. So the whole movie, she's trying to call him, and he's like, I don't know what to do, like, how do you confront like a lover? And then his friend was always the foil to everything he was trying to say, like, well, do you really love her, dude?
Oh, he's like the cool party guy that never settled down.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. And then there were so many weird ways it was trying to tell you where this movie was going, but it never actually went the way it was thought it was going to go, and then it didn't end up going anywhere. So I would say for his director debut, the cinematography was the best thing about this movie. And
Was it the best directed movie of all time?
No, yeah, I would say this movie, I give it a C+, C-. Don't waste your money on it. If you really like boring movies, like what's that movie called that came out in like 2004? Oh man, Zach Braff movie did it. I can't went blank. Natalie Portman's in it.
Oh, Garden State.
Garden State. It's just like that pace.
okay.
It's just real boring. Not really interesting dialogue, and it's like, where's this going, guys?
Is it history like Garden State was? A lot of like the Pixies
no,
and stuff.
not like that. But they did have the music video montages all over the place.
Okay.
And you could tell
A
Seth
lot of like
Green.
Thailand, driving around Thailand.
Yeah, and it's like Seth Green plays. I think actually the Pixies are in the movie. But yeah, it's one of those kind of movies that you could tell that he's influenced.
He just wanted to take a vacation to Thailand.
I mean, I guess. But
if I was, dude, I would. Studio. We're gonna take a vacation to, or we're gonna film a movie in Thailand. It's gonna take about 40 days, and I need you to pay for everything. My family's gonna come. I got a few friends that need to come as
Sandler has
producers.
the playbook.
Yeah, well,
You just
Sandler.
call him.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you do this? Can I do this?
He's like, okay, the next movie's gonna be on a yacht in the Mediterranean, in the French Riviera.
Yeah,
and
of course.
After that, let's see, what should our next movie be set? The Himalayas. You think we'd like to do some mountain climbing, so that'd be nice.
But no, Changeland, you can rent it on Amazon and all that kind of good stuff. But Macaulay Culkin was a highlight of the show. That was kind of fun. And outside that, it was not very interesting. And it didn't really end. Like, it didn't end anywhere. It was just like the last scene literally is him finally picking up the phone, talking to his wife. but you don't know what he said, where he went with his life, what his best friend was doing, because he clearly was going off still doing photography.
How is Brenda
But-
Song the top billed actor or actress in this movie?
That is because she plays.
Is she the most prominent character or something?
I mean, not really, but she's the
Like,
girl
she's billed
that
above
he
Seth
might
Green.
be interested in.
Okay. Kieran Culkin in another TV show, Succession, on HBO, which is very,
Oh
very
man,
good.
another show.
You need to watch Succession. It's about to come back out with season 2. Super, super good. All right. Well, for me, I watched a little movie that is still currently in theaters called Yesterday. I've already
great.
didn't talk about
Have
this,
you
right?
seen the parody they already made of it?
No.
So they made a parody. Do you know the premise of Yesterday?
Yes.
Let me tell
right.
you, a struggling musician realizes he's the only person on earth who can remember the Beatles after waking up in an alternate timeline where they never existed.
Yeah, there's a parody of DMX. and it's some suburban.
Is it a white guy?
It's a suburban white guy in England, and it's so funny because he's like barking, like, "You never heard that song?" It's like, "You never heard of DMX?"
You never? Yeah. What? How'd you find? I need to look that up. How'd you find that? That's
Just
so
look it
great.
up. Just say "Yesterday" parody, or
Because of
something
course
like
the
that.
Beatles are like the most iconic band. But what if it was something like?
Well, you see him like. You see him rehearsing he does almost shot for shot of, like, the scene where he's playing on the,
give it to
he's playing in the piano.
Yeah.
And then like the dad's behind him on the phone, and he's doing like Ho's Homecoming or something like that. One of the songs. It's pretty funny.
But do they dub over the clips from this movie with it?
No, it's just a different actor. It's like
But they,
it's all acted
reshoot
out.
scene for
But
scene.
yeah, like very
Oh, my
similar.
goodness. Okay, so this is a movie that is in theaters still in theaters, right, Chris?
It is.
Yesterday, PG-13. This is starring Himesh Patel, who has also been in, well, I don't know, maybe not really that much else. I thought he was in one of those, well, I'm not going to say that. Himesh Patel, he was really good in this movie. It has Lily James, who's kind of an up-and-coming actress who was in, like, Theory of Everything and a few other movies like that. Other than that, not a lot of other real famous people. It does have Ed Sheeran in it for a fair amount.
Okay.
And he plays himself. He plays Ed Sheeran. But basically, this guy is like a struggling actor. All of his gigs are like just his four friends who come to all of his stuff. The power goes out all over the world. We don't really have to explain too much about that. The movie doesn't choose to spend any time talking about why or what. There's a lot of the same joke over and over again. This is a Danny Boyle movie, which, in my opinion, means that it's not going to be like hard hitting or like really
Like
pushing.
Transmodding?
Yeah,
Not
well,
hard hitting enough, huh?
Well, I don't know. I feel like a lot of his movies, especially some of his recent
28
stuff.
days later,
Did,
not
did
hard
he
hitting
give
enough.
up? He gave up the James Bond movie to make this.
Well, I feel like a lot of the stuff he's been doing lately, where it's like, I don't know, like Slumdog Millionaire, 127 Hours, some of those where it's just like, oh, I guess 127 Hours is based on a true story, but it feels like it's wrapped a little bit too neatly in a bow, at least. And I guess maybe Slumdog Millionaire is the other example I was thinking primarily of, where it's like very happy, very upbeat, very like positive, and a lot of good energy going through the whole thing.
I can't believe that movie was nominated for so many Oscars.
Yeah, kind of ridiculous, right? Talking about the
Slumdog,
Slumdog.
yeah.
It was like a cool idea, but yeah, it was not worth all that.
Wasn't that great?
No, not at all. And anyways, so the part of this where like I really liked the first like 3/4 of this movie, I really really liked a lot. At the end, it's so like Disneyfied at the end, where everybody ends up with a girl, everybody ends up friends, everybody ends up smiling and happy and all the other kind of stuff. And so that part left a little bit of a taste in my mouth. Where this is me and
What
Lynn.
they should have done is in the John Lennon throwback, and he gets shot at the end. That'd be real appropriate.
But I don't know. Me and my wife disagreed on she really liked the ending because it was happy, and I thought that every single aspect doesn't have to be neatly packaged at the end, where every little plot line has come to full resolution. I do think that the studios have figured out what obviously is a great formula here, where you just pick one of the most famous musicians of all time and then just make a movie where it's basically an homage to their music. And people love their music. And so, Rocket Man, you've got this, you've got Bohemian Rhapsody.
What would have been great is he wakes up, there's no Beatles, like everyone is in a totalitarian world. And like everything's gray, and it's just like, oh, without the Beatles, we'd be screwed.
Wow, yeah, that's really pretty deep. There is one scene like that where the people are like, "Thank you for," because spoiler, but there's a couple other people. There's like 2 other people in the whole world that also know the Beatles existed at some point, and they're like, "Thank you for bringing this music to life." Like, oh, we just want to hear the song. My question: if in 2019 the Beatles had never existed, and you're playing "I Want to Hold Your Hand," is that really going to compete with like Cardi B and stuff. I mean, like I just don't feel like it would resonate. I feel like the reason why people still love the Beatles is because they've existed for 50 years and have been the foundation of so much else. But if you come in with like, Yellow Submarine, Paperback Writer, Strawberry Field, I mean, I don't think this stuff's good. I think you would be a very unpopular musician if you had the entire Beatles catalog at his disposal.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
The one good scene, Ed Sheeran's like, I've got one tip for you though. Call it Hey Dude, not Hey Jude. That was actually kind of funny. Hey Dude. Anyways, all right. So that's yesterday. It was good. It probably a good like date movie. It would have something for everybody as far as men, women, everything like that. And it was fun. It was fun. I'd give it you gave yours a C+ or whatever. I'll probably give it a B+. B.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Flat B, maybe a flat B. I'm gonna call it that.
That's good for
a B flat.
B flat. Yeah, it's a B flat. Musical terms, musical jokes. All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead. And anybody have anything else to talk about for their movies? No. Well, let's go on. We got a few minutes left and talk about the best directed movies of all time. Chris, did you actually bring something to the table for this conversation?
I did.
It was your idea.
And you almost ruined it earlier.
Oh, whew.
But yes, I did.
Okay.
My pick for the best directed movie of all time. This includes silent films from the 20s.
Okay, of course.
Does it include webisodes
of the 20s?
Does it include episodes of Stranger Things?
No, because
Because that would be the best?
Yeah, probably. But for movie-wise, I did pick Apollo 13. I think, and it's appropriate for now. And
best directed movie of all time.
Best directed movie of all time.
Wow.
I mean, now we got the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, or whatever. So this is a good coincidence. But no, it literally is. I mean, I watched it the other day, and yes, at times it kind of lags, and it's a little boring. But the technical side of how Ron Howard did that is amazing, and how they, when they're weightless and they're floating, that they actually went up in a C-130 with the sets inside, and then just did a free fall in the jet, and they were filming inside of there. It's fantastic. Yeah, but to make it look so realistic like that, and to get everything technically correct, with all the terms and like showing buttons and things like that, just so intricate in the way that he did it. And of course, all the performances are great. And I don't know.
So good. That movie's so good.
I seriously couldn't act like that. I mean, I can't act to begin with.
Oh, really? You can't act as good as somebody else?
Man, I really enjoy your 5-minute movie reviews.
Yeah, feature film. What's it called?
Yeah, what's
Feature Focus.
Feature Focus.
I
was filming that earlier today.
Check it out on Facebook, guys. Feature Focus.
Yeah.
It's as good. Actually,
it's as good as Apollo 13.
Change your mind. That's the best direct. Feature Focus episode 4 is the best directed
most
thing.
The most recent one was interesting. I dug it. The dinosaur. I dug it.
The Jurassic Park one.
Oh, goodness. I will agree that I love everything about Apollo 13. I think that the views inside of Mission Control, where what's his name is wearing that lame vest the whole time. Ed Harris is wearing that lame vest the whole time. But I think I like how they preserved so well probably what it looked like in there. I'm sure they had pictures that they just matched one to one. I mean, but they keep it with the period very well.
Yeah.
And the technology. I mean, they do a great job making it feel like you're in the 60s or I guess early 70s.
Oh yeah. And I mean, you really believe. And back then, there wasn't really that much CGI, so they did everything practical. Like what I said, going up in the C-130 and dropping them so that they would be weightless instead of like having them on wires and stuff like that, which would be noticeable. I mean, I don't know if you could do that today.
The article mentioned the anti-gravity. I didn't read that. I figured Apollo 13, when you said, oh, shoot, I figured Apollo 13 would be the one out of all those you mentioned. But the part of why it was so realistic was because of the anti-gravity stuff they did.
Yeah, I don't think you could do that today. I don't think any studio would do that.
It seems a little bit dangerous.
You would, yeah.
Like you have one airplane that has Ron Howard, Tom Hanks, Bill Paxton. I mean, like how many guys were in?
Yeah.
Like what if that had crashed and they all died?
It sounds like a movie plot. Yesterday.
Oh,
but
if it never,
if Ron Howard had never existed.
Oh, dude, that's brilliant. Oh my goodness. So if Ron, we gotta pick a better. I guess he's the best director of all time. But
the best directed movie.
If some movie never happened and then you had the idea, could you get it made and would it be successful? Probably not.
I think you could get Apollo 13 made, but I don't think you'd get it. They would say no to a lot of what he was able to do.
All right, listen, we're just going to put 8 or 9 people in this plane, and we're going to do several free falls. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't be scared.
But can you imagine? We should look this up. How many free falls they had to do?
Must be a lot.
Oh, I would imagine be hundreds.
Yeah.
I mean, and
maybe millions.
You could only do it for like
30 seconds or something?
Something like that, maybe. So, and that helps with pacing because each shot.
Well, they probably call it Adam Sandler's. Like, how do you convince these people to spend this money to send you up to space for a vacation?
Yeah. Maybe actually Yeah, they maybe actually went to space and they're trying to cover
Maybe
it.
they did. Maybe they did.
It's a big fake. All right, Dick, what's your best directed movie of all
I don't
time?
have one.
Of course. Why can't you have a best directed movie?
I mean, there's a lot of good movies out there.
Okay, so what's the
So
best?
I can't. There's not the best. There's just good.
Oh, okay, everyone gets a trophy
Well,
now.
it's an opinion. So,
Hey, you don't have a favorite. You don't have a movie that you thought was the best directed of all. Do you have like a top? Here's one of.
Well, I think there's a few movies that are complete in my opinion. Like they did everything they were given the task to, and they made a movie that was very good.
Why don't you just mention one of those and we can
So-
pretend like that's your best?
Okay. I think atop my head, I would say The Matrix, the first one, because from start to finish is really entertaining, and there was a lot more questions afterwards, and it created a whole new, idea for making movies.
and
So,
if you want to see if he's correct, we are showing The Matrix this
yeah, I mean,
weekend.
Really?
it's a cool movie.
Yeah.
The Matrix is
So,
great. They did some
starting
really
Sunday.
cool camera stuff.
Yeah,
and
I
effects
thought it was
and
neat.
everything.
Everything worked together. Even it's funny about sci-fi movies to me is probably the most difficult is writing dialogue that gets you still immersed into the movie, because a lot of futuristic movies they try to let's add some cool words to it to make it seem futuristic. They're not going to say crap. They're going to say frack. And they did that in Battlestar Galactica.
What the
But-
frack?
But I mean, like, it's kind of. I think overall, The Matrix was a good movie.
Is it in Mr. Fox where he says cuss all the time instead of actual
Yeah.
curse words? What the cuss?
So.
Yeah, you can do like that. All right. Well, for me, I did try to bring something to the table here. Best directed movie of all time, and this is one I've talked about here on the show several times. But it's just again. I mean, you talk about the word complete. I feel like just from start to finish, it really has it. It has so many different layers. It's The Shining.
White chicks. Oh.
Yeah.
The Shining.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good choice.
I really love The Shining, and it's for several reasons. If you just watch it, I mean, it seems a little bit odd. I mean, it is kind of an odd movie in some regards. It's definitely got some drama, horror stuff going on. This is Stanley Kubrick who did this. It was from 1980, and I think one of the things about The Shining is it's so out there in what it's doing, where the elevators keep opening and all the blood is running. I mean, it keeps flashing back to all this stuff. So suspense is built in, I think so well in this movie, where at first it seems like everything's fine. Nothing's, I mean, although even the very first scene, that opening music, I think I used it for like a top 3
Yeah.
soundtracks. That opening like French horn or
very
whatever that
creepy.
is, it's kind of creepy, but then like things seem normal, and then slowly just the unraveling of everything as we go. There's so many times where I feel like the way he just like where he put the camera or how he shot the scene or how he framed. I mean, and I'm not an expert in all that kind of stuff, but it just is really effective to kind of capture exactly what he wanted to see or what it seems like. Then the other cool thing is how intentional. It's like Kubrick must have been like the most OCD, like crazy guy in the world, because there's so much that. I watched that Room 237 documentary. Have you ever seen that, or either of you guys? It's pretty interesting, especially if you like The Shining. But it goes into some of it's like chasing conspiracy theories about how he faked the moon landing and everything like that. And maybe he did. I don't probably think he did, but
I mean, have we ever even been to the moon?
probably not. Yeah, the 50th anniversary, quote unquote.
This is a very unpopular town to have that opinion. A very
What,
unpopular.
Conroe?
Yeah. Well,
Space City No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
In this country?
Yeah, the town of Houston, the country of Texas.
Yeah.
but anyways, the way that color is used, the way that I mean, like the T-shirt choices are intentional. I mean, all the stuff. It's like his hand was in every little bit, bringing this cohesive thing together. And I think it's something that most directors just don't have in them, in my opinion. Like, who has the time and the focus and the thought to do all that kind of stuff? And so for me, that makes it the best.
He also had
man. That movie literally had like 6 actors in it. And the set was
Well,
kind of
but-
one place, so it seemed kind of easy to put everything together.
He had to really deal with a lot from the lady that played the wife. I forgot her name off the top of
Yeah.
my head. Like she was very difficult to work with, is my understanding. So, for him to be able to do that as well.
But even so, I mean, to your point, Dick, to say that there was a limited number of actors and a limited
I bet he talked to the art director more than the actors.
Well, probably, but the fact that there was such a limited thing also, but he got such a compelling story and was able to make that hotel seem so
bigger
so
than it
big,
was.
yeah, big, and even like how every floor is like a different. There was like a different meaning to each floor that they were on, and again that room 237, it's like okay, these people have too much time on their hands who have dissected this movie, but it's like every time they're on each floor, it's like a different thing is happening in the plot, and the different carpets matter. And when he's riding his little tricycle around, what does that mean? And what pattern is, I mean, it's just like, it's crazy elaborate that he left so much there for people to dive into.
Have you seen the deep fake where they put Jim Carrey on Jack Nicholson's face?
Creepy.
Oh, it's so great.
Is it?
Yeah, it's so realistic, though.
Yeah, the deep fakes are kind of creepy, aren't they?
They are very creepy.
Yeah, we're screwed. All right, well, that music means that we are wrapping this baby up. If you have a different best directed movie, please let us know. Facebook us. That'd be a good one. Hit us up on Facebook. Also, tell your friends about the show. We want to keep growing the Ticket Stub. We need Stub Nation to continue to multiply. And hopefully we'll get back to a little bit more regular recording schedule once the summer winds down. I know Chris and I both are pretty busy in the summer season. And so we're hoping to get back more to where it's every week we have some new content coming out for you guys. We appreciate you listening. For Chris, for Dick, my name is Connor. We're signing off on Ticket Stub.